Alright, fuckers, welcome back. I'm continuing onwards with artwod, linked in description. I'm not affiliated, but I would beg them consistently once I hit 1,000 subscribers to be affiliated. Oh yeah, artwod's grind node. Their beginner roadmap, which is their fundamentals course, essentially, right? Their what they teach you to get good at the fundamentals of spatial reasoning and form manipulation. I'm doing the grind node. Grind nodes are basically the additional exercises they give you for increased repetition, right, on top of what is taught. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I already did the base of it and I submitted it, but I'm gonna obviously go the extra mile and draw ellipses inside each ellipse, at least one, over again. And I want to like make it equal spacing, that way I can focus on my lines, my ellipses, and spacing. Right. So if you don't know, okay, fuck us. Do I even have time to do my little intro spiel? I'm Viggy. I'm attempting to be the fucking greatest of all time. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna do the Animorphs. I'm gonna do the Animorphs fan manga. Right. Join me. Draw along. Anyways, let's just continue. Okay, it's just watch my fucking intro video. It's much easier that way. Watch my intro video. If you're gonna watch any video of mine, watch my intro video. Right. That will give you a much better idea of what I'm about. Fuck having an intro for every single one of my goddamn videos, bro. That's a goddamn pain. Okay, so I obviously struggle with the thinner lines, but this is good. I want to make the spacing as even as possible. Again, gotta focus on how I hold my pen, the line that I put down. Right, ooh, oh, what? Oh my god! That was a fucking spaz out. So I know I struggle with that little area, so, oh, and it's not connecting. So that was a mistake. So now I gotta be aware of how my hand feels when I get around here. It feels extremely shaky, evidently. Okay, and I obviously lose some symmetry when I enter the top. So these are good things to understand and account for and try to make better, right? But yeah, practicing line work, although it may seem very, I guess, simple, maybe even a waste of time, I personally feel as if practicing lines and just simple shapes like this are probably as fundamental as it gets if we're going down to just really being a beginner, or just really boiling it down to the basics of marksmanship. Right, it's how you hold your pen and the pressure you use to apply a line, and the quality of the line, as well as the symmetry of the shape. The shape, why did I say shape like that? The symmetry of the shape that you're drawing. I feel as if these things, you can never go wrong with practicing them a bit above and beyond. And it makes sense. This is why they have it in the grind node, right? And this is why I want to go the extra mile, because I think it makes a difference. I personally think it makes a huge difference. See, like, look how poor that line is. So, because I know from this angle, I struggle a lot. See, it's also uneven. That spacing is more than this spacing over here. Right, the consistency, how there's line breaks. And it's not about always being perfect, but it's about aiming for perfection, so your baseline is really, really good. That's the way I see it, right? Especially because this is something where you genuinely can get as close to perfect as you would like with enough practice, right? That's the beauty of art, actually, is the fact that there's very little limitations in actual ability. I think everybody can learn spatial reasoning. I think everybody can become excellent. I said this during my last of this, during the last video, but it's just how I feel. And the thing is, it'll be a reflection of your mentality if you agree or disagree with me, right? If you think that no, everybody cannot become excellent. I'm not talking about mastery, virtuosity, right? Maestro, protege, none of that shit. I'm talking about excellence. I think everyone can become excellent. The bar for excellence is very high, but I believe it can be reached by everyone. But yeah, I think it's a reflection of your mentality. If you think no, I can't do it or others can't do it, and it's probably rooted in some bullshit like, oh, that's just the harsh reality of life. Okay, cool, but why do you have to believe that? Right? What does it benefit you to believe that way? That's called a limiting belief, my friend. If you're limiting your own ability or others' ability through that belief, you're actually just getting in your or their way. That's all you're doing. Is that of benefit to you or anybody else? No. Zero benefit. So why not? If you're gonna think in any way, why not just think you can do it with absolute confidence and belief that no, I will be able to do it. I'm gonna put the work in and I'll be able to do it. Somebody actually commented on my Kim Jong-il, I believe part 8 or part 9 video, saying like, keep it up, but what Kim Jong-il did was near impossible. But maybe you'll be the next Kim Jong-il. And they also told me to get off the drugs. For that I say never, because the drugs are what allow me to have such fine pen control. So that's never happening. But I completely disagree that what Kim Jong-il did was impossible. Because if it was impossible, he wouldn't have done it. It's as simple as that. If what he performed was impossible, he would not have performed it. And if he had performed it, then humans can perform it. Why not us? Why not this human right here? Right? This cunt right here with this pen. Why not you listening or watching? What bullshit belief did you just have when I said that as to why you couldn't become excellent? Right? It's a reflection of how you think. What belief did you have? Did you immediately start thinking about how Kim Jong-il was special, he's better than us, he's different, blah, 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 even though multiple times in interviews he said that he's not, and that he just he 100% drew a million times more than any of us ever did. Oh, that was a fucking line. I gotta be aware of that. Yeah, he 100% drew any more than any of us did. He loved art any more than any of us will currently. And he was always observing the world through an artistic lens. Something that many of us don't do. I try my best, but again, he was obsessed, right? So what separated him and us is his obsession. But at the same time, he made a lot of mistakes when he was learning. He wasn't learning super efficiently. He had to learn all the fundamentals by himself. He didn't know what the fundamentals were, right? He was thinking in 3 dimensions when he was 4, yes, but he didn't even understand how he was thinking that way. He constantly says, I would have learned differently, I would have done this. So what is our advantage in the age of information? The information, the practice, right? That's why I will dick ride artwod till I die, because I truly think Antonio has come out with the perfect packaging for becoming a stellar draftsman. Because that's what Kim Jong-il was, a stellar draftsman with an immense visual library. Both things that can be trained, that can 100% be trained through, would you believe it, repetition, retard. Like, it's not that fucking hard to figure out. So why can't you do it? The answer is you can. You just have to put in the work. But yeah, I don't like when people think that I can achieve something, and I don't like when people think that they can achieve something. Okay. Harboring doubts is completely normal and fine. That was a good one. Harboring doubts is completely normal and fine. I think it's very fine to harbor doubts. But to let those doubts define you is where you're gonna run into problems, right? Like, I'll be honest, I am job hunting. I'm getting nothing but rejections. I'm actually going back to my portfolio and I'm going to add a couple more projects that I worked on as case studies, right? Trial and error, all that stuff. But I'll be honest, if I say I didn't feel like absolute shit with all the rejections and didn't feel bad about, essentially basing my worth on my career and my career prospects and my ability, right? Funny enough, when I was in the workforce, I was getting nothing but praise. But suddenly you're out of it and you're looking for work, right? And economic downturn, all that shit, it feels as if you're the one at fault. But I am putting in work. I 100% can acknowledge that I can put in more work, right? So that's my responsibility. So I understand harboring doubts, but we can't let those doubts define us. And we can't let those doubts become how we actually feel about ourselves. Right? We just have to do our best. So do your best to remove your limiting beliefs. That was also pretty mediocre. Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. Take my inspiration, shove it up your ass. You're welcome. Jesus. Man, I spent like fucking an hour today. Jesus. Probably shouldn't have started my sentence and then drank water in between, but I spent like an hour today, or maybe even longer, sort of floundering about. I got a lot of shit done, actually. I got a lot of paperwork done regarding my employment shit when it comes to benefits, right? Good old government help, in which they don't want to help you, even if you're in the shitter. But no, I got a lot of stuff done with that. I'm going on a beach trip with my friends this weekend. It is June 27th as of time of the recording, so June 28th to 30th for Canada Day, right? So that's gonna be really fun. I'm been hyped for that. But I guess when it came to drawing, I was kind of putting it off for an hour. So yeah, again, I'm not infallible. I'm not someone who could always have the motivation or the discipline to draw. But I just told myself to just get to the chair. Because once I got to this chair, and I had the light on already beforehand. Once I did that, it's like, okay, I'm here. Let's just focus. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm just trying to focus. Making lots of mistakes, which is good. Making lots of mistakes. Yeah, I'm excited. Artwod's gonna be fucking great for me in general. Yeah, I'm really excited to go through the beginner road. Oh. Mark my words, by the end of this year, my spatial reasoning will have fucking tenfolded. And I obviously will be drawing on this beach trip. I bought a little notebook. I need to start putting that in the description as well. It's really good. It's cheap, and the brush pen. The thing is, because it's specifically made for markers, and any sort of ink, the paper, right? It's a bit thicker than printer paper, but it basically behaves like printer paper. So this brush pen is a great tool to use on it because it bleeds. It absorbs the ink so well. It doesn't bleed, sorry. It absorbs the ink so well that it basically is a great way for me to, again, do what I'm doing right now, just practicing my lines because of how much ink the paper absorbs, right? So that means my pen pressure needs to be even finer to get thin lines. So it's a great opportunity to practice my lines and obviously shapes. And I practiced a little bit already on that. So yeah, I'm still trying to, of course, make my art progress be at least, or December, 17th and onwards, be at least 90% documented, because it is important for anyone who wants to learn art to be able to see my journey. I truly believe that. Plus, nobody does this. This is going to be the most thoroughly documented art progress in the world. So you're all welcome for that. This is where consistency comes in, right? I will consistently showcase my struggles, my pain, my peen, all of it. Some more than others. And I hope in the future that I inspire, not that I'm an inspiration, but I hope this does, inspire people to get to it, to realize their own potential. I would love it if 10 years from now, even if this, the thing is, the main reason I even want this channel to take off, apart from obviously copious amounts of money, is so the larger it is, the more people can see this type of content, right? The more artists who are encouraged to have the correct mentality around art, which is one of overwhelming positivity and enjoying the growth, the process, right? because we still don't have that. No matter how much information has been shared, we don't have someone's journey, right? We have statements of journeys. Okay, that was pretty mediocre. We have statements of journeys. We have accounts, right? We have vague mentions of it's gonna take time. It takes years. Do this, do that. But we don't have someone, i.e., me, actually doing the things, consistently. It doesn't exist. I literally got a comment where somebody's like, this is the only type of content I've seen on the internet, right? Like, this is literally the only content I've seen from such a small channel like yours. Well, my friend, you are onto something. That is the audience, right? People who realize, like, oh shit, this channel is special. I'm special, right? Cool. But yeah, I want to inspire. Not because I'm inspirational, but I want to show that if an average dipshit like me can become excellent, then you, who is most likely equally as average or above average, right? If we're going by the trend, there's also a couple people who are below average. Every single one of you can also become excellent, right? Excellence is a spectrum, but the baseline, the bare minimum of excellence is still quite incredible. That's why I encourage you guys to do all the hardest things, because if you constantly challenge yourself with the hardest things, then you'll have the orifices required to intake it. That was a really roundabout way of saying you'll be able to have a dick up your ass, because it's hard. Ha ha ha, penis joke. Anyways, you see how difficult that was for me? I fucked up both of these. But this is why I use this fucking brush pen. This brush pen is the hardest tool. It's the goddamn hardest tool. But after using this, fine liners, easy peasy, pencils. What the fuck? I don't even think about pencils, bro. Oh. Yeah, I don't even think about pencils. Oop, see, that was a fuck up line. Because, again, fine motor skills. Need to work on that. But it's amazing, because that shows you there's always improvement. And these lines actually don't even look that bad, right? But when you focus and when you watch having examples, this helps, right? So my example is Kim Jong-gi, Peter Han, Karl Kopinski, Antonio, any proficient artist. My examples are them. I hold myself to that example, not because I expect myself to be like that right now, but because I work towards that. Anything less than that is a mistake. Just like this was a mistake. Why? Because there's a little gap and the consistency's in there. Every single one of these are subpar compared to the lines that I hold myself to. Like all these lines, like the standards for this, right? But that doesn't mean they're bad. I can completely appreciate how far I've come, while also looking forward to the future, and at the same time enjoying what I'm currently doing. These are all mistakes. That was a mistake too. I wasn't thinking of the plane properly. And drawing slowly really helps me, because the thing is, I'm drawing slowly. That means there's more room for error. But that means because there's more room for error, there's more room for refinement from those errors, right? If I'm drawing this slowly and I can create really clean lines, that means if I draw fast, I guess my logic is that they should be relatively clean regardless. Because I know when I draw fast, I can create much cleaner lines. Okay. All right, I'm gonna rest my brain again. I encourage you to do the same. Oh, wow, 19 minutes. Okay, so I should be able to do one ellipse, like for all of them, in about 40 minutes, right? And then I'll start on, obviously, adding another one. I wanna have 3, I guess. 3 or 4, we'll see, right? Take my time. Anyways. Wunderbar. Yeah, I keep saying that shit. Don't know why. It's a nice word. German word. I think I mentioned I skipped literally like half the classes at times. Well, since my audience is mostly men, I assume you guys can resonate with feeling like you're meant for more, right? Most guys, we just kind of waste away, especially in this day and age when we don't have anything hard to do. So if you're in the weird niche of my audience where you're a guy and you like this retarded sense of humor and you're into art, right? Because art seems to be mostly female dominated on the internet, which is good. You know, there's a lot of really, really good artists out there, but there isn't really much of a space like this type of fucking stupidity, right? It's a very positive environment. Women bring a lot of positivity with them, but it's so positive that it's suffocating. Like Jess Carp, I love her, man. She's such a good artist. She's so skilled, but she's so positive that it almost seems like a meme, right? I can't be that positive. I can't bring that atmosphere into my art and my channel, but I can be me and go on random tangents about why you can believe in yourself. That's my version, I guess, right? You can do it. Oh, that was also pretty mediocre. But yeah, that's also why I started this channel, is because there are not enough male artists on the internet, at the very least, with the sense of humor I enjoy. I'm filling my own niche. I'm filling the niche of liking my own content. I'm a fucking narcissist. There isn't anybody like me. We need to change that. And thus, on December 17th, 2024, the universe was changed forever. Oh, there you go. That one was pretty okay. But yeah, practice your ellipses. Practice your ellipses, guys. Do this shit along with me. It's really good. And do check out artwod. Honestly, check out artwod. You get access to the first little bit of their beginner road. It basically shows you how they teach, right? And with the grind nodes, it's really going to reinforce the repetition. The only thing you need to take away from art right now, from where I am, the only thing I think you need to take away in terms of how to learn it is spatial reasoning and repetition. If I were to simplify it extremely, like it's so unnecessary, such an unnecessary simplification. If I were to do that, that's just a couple words I would use: spatial reasoning and intense focused repetitions. How about that? There you go. Because if I just say repetition, half of you retards are just going to be drawing lines over and over without thinking, right? I have to say intense focused repetitions. Like right now, I'm constantly thinking about the plane to the best of my ability. I lose it about half the time, right? Because talking while drawing is also very difficult. I cannot explain how fucking difficult it is. But you see, because that's a skill in of itself, I'm literally building the skill. And I've gotten a lot better at talking while visualizing while drawing, right? So that's something as well. Of course, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to just have a fucking full-blown conversation with somebody while I'm drawing. And I don't think I'd want to. Like art is still relatively personal, you know, after all, right? So I don't want to have that experience sullied by constantly being interrupted or interrupting my own flow. Okay. So the wider ones I have a better time seeing it. It's almost like the medium degree ones, right? The medium width ones, like these, that I have trouble actually making it more evenly spaced. See, that wasn't that bad either. Am I spacing it too wide though? Maybe I should make it a bit thinner, possibly. Well, then I think just one more is enough, right? One more ellipse, that's probably enough. Or like a three ellipses. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably good. But yeah, what else can I talk about? Well, Peter Hahn, unfortunately, well, thankfully his GoFundMe has been, like the goal's been met. That makes me happy, but Peter Hahn unfortunately got I forgot. It's unfortunate I'm forgetting what it's called, but some sort of autoimmune disease which affects his left eye and has given him extreme blurriness and double vision, right? And he's like very dizzy, and his body's extremely numb, so he's obviously unable to draw, which means for him as an actual professional artist, that's his livelihood. He's unable to work, right? It's really fucking disheartening. Not disheartening. Disheartening isn't the word to use. I guess just frustrating, right? It's just sad. It's frustrating in the sense that it's a frustration I feel that someone who's put in that much work into their craft gets affected by this, right? And he's actually a pretty healthy guy. I know from what I know, he's always biking and hiking, exercise. He's just this is just this a fucking 1 in a million autoimmune disease, bro. I fucking work out all the time. I could get, who knows, maybe when I'm 60 and I'm like, all right, Animorphs is ready, and I just get cancer. Although I deserve it, but still, with the fucking all the shit I've done to my body. But it's I really hope he recovers. Is I guess all I'm trying to say. Not that I'm trying to make news out of his situation, but I guess I was just trying to think of art related things to talk about, because I guess apparently I'm an art channel, right? Fucking people are so quick to want to monetize this shit. I know I already put everything out there in terms of making it and trying to monetize it, but that doesn't happen for a while, right? But I know one of my friends' fiance, she was like, "Oh, did you monetize? You have 500 subscribers. Like, can you make money yet?" I'm like, "Bruh, do you know my audience? They're artists. They're fucking poor as shit. They're banking on me to make money so I can provide for them. God damn it." Okay, that's on the other one. But wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, cool. So I just continued then. Wonderful. But yes, I do have my Ko-fi. I do have my Patreon. I'm gonna have a buy me a coffee link as well. Any which way in which my audience, when they feel that moment of pity and love and lust, in any which way in which they want to financially provide for me, I will of course provide that avenue, right? There you go. Yeah, I do hope YouTube figure out my audience soon, but who knows? In the brain rot generation, I may never have an audience. These videos are too long form. It's like I gotta hope that artists aren't as brain rotted. That's like the only thing I'm banking on. Well, clearly 500 of them are at least not brain rotted enough to be interested in my content, so that's pretty good. But I hope you guys are drawing along. Money aside, I actually wouldn't even want people to be watching or listening to me, or definitely not listening to me while they draw. But my shtick is right now, like, draw along with me, right? Because for focus purposes, it's probably not the best that you're listening to my fucking ass just talking about random shit, because that could actually mess with your focus, scientifically speaking. But that's why I say keep you unmuted in the background. But then you're just, I mean, hey, I want the retention, so actually I'm not even gonna fucking back down on that. Give me retention. And your attention, but only after you've done drawing, and then you watch it again to actually understand what I was doing, and then maybe a third time to really retain it, because you can't just understand in one go. Anyways, I'm gonna fucking rest my brain. I'm so bad at fucking marketing, bro. I gotta figure that shit out. It's just me stumbling and muttering my way through this. All right, great. How long has it been? Half an hour only. What the fuck? Oh, maybe I can do a bit of the third ellipses after all. It's gonna be really difficult, though, especially for these. That's gonna be difficult, which is good, which is very good. Fine motor skills are Abertin. There you go. Oh, that was a bit wonky. cool. But yeah, consistent line work is really what I'm trying to focus on here. Consistent thin line work, of course. Obviously the symmetry is important too. That one was really bad, damn. Okay. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That one is a bit lopsided, could be better. It's okay. Okay, cool. See, that's the thing, right? I'm not just trying to make this symmetrical, because if I was, it'd actually be a lot easier. I'm specifically thinking about the plane that this is focused on. Think about the box, right? I'm thinking about the box that this is inside, essentially, if that makes sense. And that's why there's wonkiness, because I'm actually visualizing a grid of sorts. Because that's the thing, we're not just trying to make things even for the sake of being even. We're trying to constantly be thinking about 3D space, right? Even in something that seemingly is as flat as just an ellipse staring at us, we can actually see it as part of a cylinder staring at us, right? In one point perspective. So that changes everything, right? Because now suddenly you have a reason to actually see the space that it occupies. That's what I'm kind of trying to do here. Why did my voice turn into that fucking Western accent? That's what I'm kind of trying to do here. Oh yeah, that's right. Go back to the plantation and start digging, boy. Start digging. How do I do this one? Cool. That was okay. Right, yeah, I had a lot of mistakes down around here because this was basically the end of my focus bout, right? So it's very normal for your focus to come in and out during your sessions. It's very normal to lose focus. Let's say like halfway through in the beginning, it's normal to warm up to your focus, right? Focus is probably focus/attention is the most important currency, right? Of the mind. Without that, we cannot achieve anything. If you can't focus on it, you can't commit to it, right? That's why it's very costly for the mind, for the brain to produce the energy it needs to retain and maintain that focus, which is why it's also very normal to, again, lose focus during intentional periods of focusing. So yeah, that's why you should just practice the 90-minute bouts. The ultradian rhythm exists for a reason. That is Ultradian, ultradian. Yeah, I paused because I was like, how the fuck am I spelling this out while drawing? I was actually impressed with my multitasking. And then I forgot my place. Okay, that one's not too bad either. Yeah, ellipses are difficult, but well worth it. And this is just the first time I'm going to do this grind note. Probably do this a couple times over the next few years, right? Because I'm obviously going to be taking my time. And the thing is, I'll also be practicing my ellipses outside of this these recordings, in the sense that, like, I specifically got this sketchbook, which will link in the description going forward. Probably past 10, all the videos I've queued right now are probably going to have it, which is around like 15 videos. I think 12, 13 videos, something like that. I queue about 2 to 3 weeks in advance. But no, like, this video won't be coming up till probably mid to end of July. Yeah. But I got that sketchbook, so when I have moments of downtime, and everybody has at least a few minutes of downtime, I can use it to practice, right? Whether it be lines, whether it be random shapes, whether it be form manipulation, anything where I'm like, I really want to focus on this. Just like the whole bike thing. Maybe if you even focus on the bike, that's what I was doing, right? The wheel and the wheel covering. I was trying to figure out the perspective for that and how to make it seamless. Oh, that was really difficult. See, if you're trying to go thin, it's very common for the pen to raise up because you're putting such little pressure that it can become no pressure, right? I.e., what's it called? The consistency, like you're lifting it up slightly. And that's amazing because when you recognize that as an error, so does your brain. So I fucking love drawing. This is meditative. This is literally meditation. Speaking of, I need to have my meditation about today. I didn't do it when I woke up because I had to do all the other stuff I mentioned earlier, but I also need to have my creatine. Fuck, I forgot to have my creatine too. God damn it. That's what happens when the morning routine goes out the window. Because I had a call that to take for the whole benefits thing, right? Which, who knows, maybe they'll deny me. They'll be like, fuck you, you're a minority. It's possible. It's possible. I do live in a very white town. I mean, although that has nothing to do with the government, but you never know. Any reason to blame my skin and my ethnicity, I will obviously capitalize on it. Hard work, bootstraps? I've never heard of those words before. But EI, I have heard of that. Jumpable border, I've heard of that as well. The shit joke. I've definitely heard of minimum wage, that's for sure. Shit. There you go, that was really bad. But I will rest my brain regardless, because that was a good bad. That was a good bad. Alright, BRB. Yeah, the best thing about art is definitely how much time flies, right? It does not feel like it's been almost 40 minutes of me just drawing ellipses. When you begin, this seems boring, but the true boredom lies not in the activity, but the individual, right? Is the task boring, or do you just have a boring mindset around it? Because if we can agree, and you must, because it's just true, that mindsets can be changed, albeit with difficulty and friction, but it can be changed, right? Then we must also agree that anything can be enjoyable, given you want to enjoy it, right? If you want to learn art, and you find out there are all these fundamentals, and obviously, immediately, it seems like an overwhelming and daunting task, right? Again, I will fucking dick ride artwod. That's why I love them, because they turn an overwhelming and daunting task into no way. Just focus on right now. Don't think about anything else. Just get good at line, perspective, and form, right? Manipulation and rotation of all of those, and just really get good at those. Everything else builds on those foundations, and it's true. It's completely true. I'm not even that skilled, and yet I can draw a gun from imagination. The fuck? I can sort of draw a bike from imagination. Oh, that's why I can't wait for spamming the Figure Road later this year, which will be in a few months probably. But yeah, Figure Road and Figure Portrait. Anything to do with Figure Portrait, the hands, right? I cannot wait to spam the shit out of those over the next 5 years, because once you can draw people really well, then you can start creating scenarios around those people. Right now, my drawings for imaginations are very limited, because I don't really know how to create a scenario, you know what I mean? The scenarios I do create involve anatomy, people, which is why they always seem to be awkward, stiff. But once I, just like that, just like these lines, but once I learn that and really drill it like I'm drilling this right now and just spend weeks and weeks on that shit, it'll become second nature. And the freedom that'll open up into my imagination drawings. And again, art is a compounding skill. Spatial reasoning, the more you practice it, it's a compounding skill, right? So my ability to be able to break down objects will become better thanks to the beginner road, because that's also what they teach us, how to break down objects into simple shapes or simple manipulated shapes, right? That's why form intersections or form blending is so important, right? Addition and subtraction. I'm going to be spamming all of that, of course, but once I spend the next couple of months on that. Once I get really good at that, and I continue to improve my figures and my roads over the next couple of years, not figures and roads, what the fuck, figures, portraits, all that shit, and just add the couple little things that I've been doing with their artwod workouts, the blocks that I have now, right? Spend the next 5 years doing that. These 5 years are going to be essentially the defining years of just getting really, really good at line, spatial reasoning, form, and form manipulation, and breaking things down into simple forms and rotating them, right? Because that's building the visual library. After that, because the skill itself, like building fundamental skills in of itself are compounding, right? The compound, it'll be exponentially. Like right now I struggle with breaking things down and retaining things, but because I'm going to keep practicing that, it's going to get easier and easier over time, and my visual library will just naturally increase, and I'll have a lot more to draw on and draw from, even if I don't really remember what something looks like. Even if I just relatively know its basic shapes, I should be able to recreate it. Just like how Kim Jong-il didn't know how to draw a saxophone, as I said in yesterday's session or whatever, last video, but because he just knows shapes so well and he has a general idea of it has fucking buttons like these, it's kind of like a trumpet shape, whatever. Boom, he created a saxophone looking instrument, and then he looked at the reference like, oh wait, I was completely fucking off, and then he extended the actual I guess the horn part. I don't know anything about saxophones. I don't know the terminology. I'm a pianist, or a pianist, I like to call myself. But I think logically that makes sense, the way I've been approaching art. I mean, it's all just about draftsmanship, isn't it? There's not a single draftsman out there that we think, oh yeah, they're all right. At the very least, we think, wow, they're very technically capable, right? The rest is experimentation, and I think gesture is a huge part of it, right? I think excellent draftsmanship skills, strong visual library, gesture, those things are pretty awesome. Obviously, then I can just go into everything: lighting, composition, values, blah blah blah. Like there's a lot. That's why you have to tackle it one step at a time. First 5 years will be line, form, and form manipulation, right? Second, the next 5 years will be obviously building on top of that, but then I'll really be able to think about gesture, lighting, composition. And obviously this is rough. Obviously I do try to think about that even now, but I don't know the rules behind them, right? I don't know the drills behind them. I don't know the exercises behind them. And artwod has all of that. They have the environment road as well, which is going to be amazing, because it teaches composition. And I'll do that at one point, whether in a couple years, whether sooner than that. It all depends on my rate of progress and my interests. Right now, I want things to be able to fill in the environment. Right? If I feel as if the visual library, quote unquote, the things that I can fill in the environments have gotten to a decent point, then I can focus on making the environment itself more interesting. Right? It's not just like some random shit that's very half-assed, because that's what it is right now. It's very half-assed, objectively speaking, right? It doesn't matter how much effort I put into it, the outcome is just novice. And that's okay, because that's the beauty of art. I'm gonna keep saying it. The beauty of art is that it's infinite, right? If you're learning art, you should be so happy. You should be so fucking grateful that you have the opportunity to learn something that has no limits. Think about it this way. Is anybody ever really happy or fucking proud of the fact that they can walk? No, because if you're, thankfully born with all your limbs and good motor functions, by the age of 4 or 5, you're walking pretty well. You might be, stumbling along like a little turd, but you're walking pretty well. Nobody's really proud of the fact that I walk great. But artists, artisans, people who pursue a skill, any skill, but people who pursue a skill, right? I obviously am more enamored by any sort of trade, hand-on, or artistic, creative skill, but there are many, many skills out there. Many, many skills. Figure skating, singing, any sort of sports, football, right? Business. There are many skills, but a lot of these skills are finite to a degree. Not the ones I just mentioned, like it could be any other skills, but there are many skills that are finite. But there's obviously a bountiful amount of skills. Bountiful? Plentiful? Bountiful? I don't fucking know. But there are plenty of skills that are also, for all intents and purposes, infinite in terms of how much there is to learn. And I think art and piano, right? And like music, like the musical and the visual arts, there's no limit. Especially with my clear bias, the visual arts, because to create art is to create life, and to create life is just everything, right? Literally everything. There are millions of things to draw, millions of things, right? So how could we not be grateful that we have the opportunity to draw these things, to learn these things, to expand our knowledge? That is the way you should think about art. That's the way a lot of these artists say. I think I'm just grateful and fortunate to be so obsessed with thinking about things the right way and learning the right way that I've chanced upon and cemented, obviously through my own hard work, this sort of mindset only 2.5 years into my journey. Technically 2 years. Yeah, technically like 2 years. Maybe a bit over 2 years in terms of when I came to this mindset. You guys already know there was that point in my videos when I was drawing the fucking when I was doing like crazy scooters early on, and also there's like another thing. It was like a visual library thing, the sketchbooking series, where I was getting frustrated, and then I was like, "What the fuck am I doing?" And then literally 2 days later, I just completely changed my mindset. Now I love learning. Now I just love it. It's not that I didn't before. I knew all of this and I was trying to practice it before, but it was like very clear before I was attempting to enjoy the learning process and constantly reinforcing that. And now it's so much more intuitive. And that makes me extremely happy. But this looks okay so far. I'm gonna rest my brain again. And then we will go from there. I think I already said that. I really do say the same shit over and over again, right? I'm a fucking broken record, just the same soundbite. It's fucking amazing. I'm so happy. But yeah, I do believe I'm hopefully talking to one or two of you, right? If the statistics don't lie, then there must be at least a couple people that listen to me talking. And yeah, thank you. You guys are the reason that. Well, no, you're not the reason I keep going at all. I keep going because I love drawing and I love sharing this and I want it to be something that people see. But the fact that you exist is definitely a really good motivator. Like the fact that you, whoever's listening or watching, exist, that really helps in my consistency. Literally today I didn't really feel like drawing. I'm like, I could just draw off camera, but I'm like, wait, if I draw off camera, then that's an hour that I'm not recording, and there's gonna be people out there who I want them to see. Yeah, like if you exist, that motivates me to want to continue to show you that art progress, right? That things take time, that I'm fucking working and I'm grinding, and you can do the exact same thing, and that it can be fun. It can be so fun. It literally can be fun all the time, because the fun and the joy can come from the struggle, from how difficult it is, right? Yeah, definitely my lines are better when I draw smaller. But yeah, guys, the word grind, if it's something you care about, should not, I guess, push you away, right? It shouldn't deter you. Because if you have that feeling, if you have the feeling of that you want to enjoy this thing, You 100% can. It's just about training your mind that every time you fail, that it's a good thing. Errors, right? Error recognition. I keep saying that, but it really is the truth. Making errors and feeling good from these errors are so important. Now when I make these mistakes, I know I make them, I comment, I say they're shit, whatever, but internally I'm like, good shit, making more mistakes. Because if we just blindly believe in the science and if we just think, okay, like let's say that this works, right? Then it's not a good thing. If it works to just be happy when you make mistakes, and apparently that's good for our brain and we learn so much faster that way, right? And like resting our brain and taking these breaks, then isn't that basically what we're supposed to be doing? Like if we're just supposed to, if enjoying the process and just being happy while drawing, or attempting to learn any skill literally expedites the process of learning that skill, then it truly is the answer, is it not? Think about Bob Ross, right? Whether he knew the neuroscience or not, the man was an incredible still life artist or painter, right? He was great at what is it called again? Fuck. Urban sketching? It's not urban sketching. Plein air. He was amazing at plein air, right? And what do he always say? Happy little accidents. He was reinforcing to himself that these mistakes are good because they're quote unquote happy little accidents. Whether he knew it or not, he was learning very efficiently and he was practicing consistently a growth mindset by telling it to himself and telling it to his fans. That's what I'm doing too. It doesn't matter if I believe it or not, but I do. But it doesn't matter if I do or not. If I keep telling myself that mistakes are good and I feel good, what we say, what we think, what we repeat is what we become, right? Just like with art, we repeat intent, focus, and consistency. We become intent, focus, and consistency in line, in ability, and in girth. I use that girth joke all the time. I really hope I use the girth joke all the time. I really hope it catches you guys off guard, at least half the time. That'd be amazing. That was really bad. This looks like fucking Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, that's such a shit ellipse. It's amazing. You see, I could have felt bad, but I'm reinforcing to myself that that's amazing, right? What a shit ellipse. That's amazing. Faking excitement at times, other times genuine excitement or happiness, but fake it and your body will accept it either way. And your brain will recognize it as such and you will improve. Cool. That's a bit better. That one, there was a bit of a gap, but overall I think it was a pretty decent. Yeah, that one was also pretty good. So yeah, I think I'm getting slightly better, right? Any improvement, that's another thing. I was talking to my friend about this yesterday, but any improvement is good improvement. Because improvement is extremely hard to see. If you ask me to try to see improvement when I draw, I don't really see it. That's why I focus on the mistakes I make and I feel good. I just focus on just trying to do my best each time, right? Because I don't only see improvement, but it's very clear over these 6 months and plus 150 videos of 150 hours of drawing, right? Not just videos, hours of drawing in these past 6 months that I've been uploading. And just obviously drawing is my normal practice anyways, it's just on the internet now. That there's clear improvement in my ability to spatial reason, especially my ability to rotate things. The fact that I'm able to, like, when I started the gun drawing reference, my recent one, right? The fact that I could look at the gun. Remember the first bout around, I had to copy the gun as it was, right? But the second time around, I was literally drawing, like, first I had to copy the gun as it was, my first time, like first part of the visual library series, right? And then I was rotating it and still looking at the reference so much. This time I didn't even need to look at the reference like half as much. And when I drew it initially, I drew it from a different angle, a completely different angle, because I just understood this, the shape and the space it resided in, and roughly the, what's it called, the proportions. That is incredible improvement. My lines were a lot better, and just that gun practice in of itself reinforced to me how much I need to work on my lines as well, which is also good. That's why I'm constantly trying to keep my lines as thin as possible. Not because I think thin lines are the only valuable lines, but again, if I can create thin, consistent lines, pressure control will be very good, right? Create a lot more nuance in whatever I draw when I start adding detail, because I can add a lot thinner lines. But yeah, that's just the way I think about art. That's the way I consistently tell myself to think about art. And I hope it encourages you all to think about art that way as well. And again, if you think what I'm doing is too much, it's not. You can do it. Why can't you do it? Again, why can you not do it? Right? If you don't want to do it, fair enough. But why don't you want to do it as well? Why do you not want to practice or put the work in? Right? Do you really care about the skill then? I understand difficulties. I understand being unable to actually build the discipline. But building discipline starts with one rep. Just like drawing art, learning art starts with the first ellipse, right? The first repetition. Whether it's discipline, you're building the skill. It's every time you draw, every time you do anything, right, that you want to do, whether you struggle with it or not. Yeah, see, that was gonna be horrible. Whether you struggle with it or not, you're building the repetitions for that, right? It's all the sort of a repetition game. Repetition, persistence. I actually want to read the book, The Talent Code, because I heard it talks about that. The fact that it's not talent, it's repetition and persistence. And again, if you become excellent, because as I believe, anybody can be excellent. Anybody who's excellent will get called talented, right? So it completely diminishes the hard work that they put in. Like, I'm not even that good at piano yet. I'm not even that good at art yet, but just from the shit that I've been doing, I have relatives who are like, you're so talented. I want to spit on their face, but I can't, because it's disrespectful and not part of my culture. But I want to. I want to be like, you fucking fool. But, I love them, so I can't say that. And I get it. A lot of times people don't mean harm by that word, but the thing is that word is extremely harmful. Especially in art, where people are already convincing themselves for some reason that art specifically is a God-given gift. But if you look at one of my thumbnails from months back, art is not a God-given gift. I am. I love that. I love that thumbnail, bro. My thumbnails are my fucking best part of my videos. But yeah, talent is a very, very harmful word because it permeates the notion that you're born with it or you're not. And people love to die on that hill. But these may also be the people that never put work in anything, that never really achieved. I was trying to say achieved true, and then I turned into achieved, but who achieved true excellence or mastery in anything, right? That's it's as simple as that. You'd be hard pressed to find someone who's worked their ass off in something, who is extremely quick to assert the notion that it's all talent. I'm sure in the top of the top of the top, genetic differences of course exist, right? If you're comparing within the top let's say anywhere from the top 10% to the top 1%, but more likely in the top 1%, right? Olympics, athletes, chess, and any endeavor in which it's publicized and you see the best of the best of the best, right? I am certain, yeah, there's probably these minute genetic differences in perception, focus, blah, 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 right? Abilities to process that exist. But these people are the fucking best, okay? At that point, it really does come down to slight genetic differences and maybe the way they practice as well, right? Because a lot of them are going to be practicing the same, putting in the same work, have the same passion, dedication, right? But there might even be even more minute differences in, okay, like, well, this guy's even more passionate, or this girl just happens to do this one practice which gives her the slight edge. Well, and then there's also the concept of small changes make a big difference, right? If any of you have read Atomic Habits, the first example, James Clear, the author, gives example Why the fuck did I use a B? The first example James Clear gives in that is the author is that I believe it was a cycling club, right? Or it was a coach. No, it was a coach. I forget what it was for the tour. I think it was for the Tour de France. The coach essentially it was changed for a specific team, and he literally just did really tiny things overall that made a huge change, right? He changed the fucking like the lining on the brakes for the bikes, right? He made sure they took hot showers and stuff, or like some sort of blood work or cold showers, like something like that, right? Like they did things regarding their body temperature at a specific time in the day, after or before their exercise, right? They changed the fucking the handles fucking like got like 2% better because they shined it better or something like that. But all these tiny little things he did to with the players, the materials that they used, as well as the way they trained, essentially resulted in like a fucking times 10x improvement in their performance and ability on the day of the race. So who's to say that amongst the best, because again that's an example for the best, right? Fucking Tour de France. Who's to say that amongst the best, practices like that don't also make a difference? But again, that's the best. Everybody here, even me, right? I say I'm going to become the greatest of all time. That is a proud statement. That's a bold statement that I make because I truly believe in it, and I will have to believe in it. But I don't know how good I'm going to be, right? I may become the best or one of the greatest. I may not. But I know I will become absolutely excellent, and I know I'll make an absolute impact in the art world, right? That I'm certain of, as long as I don't die and I keep putting the work in, right? So what point was I trying to make? Oh yeah, the relative point I'm trying to make is stop using talent as a fucking cop out to not put the work in, because that only applies to the top fucking like 1%, all right? And even then, there may be things we're not even aware of because we're not the top 1%. We can't speak unless we're there, okay? And would you rather believe in that, or would you rather just believe that you can work smart, hard, better, find some more nuances to achieve your goals, right? Fundamentals of anything. Why not believe in yourself? I'll keep saying that. Why not believe in yourself? They say comparison is the thief of joy, but it's okay to be competitive. But don't let that competitive turn to anger. Let it turn to inspiration. Right? There's millions of artists better than me, obviously. Right? There's millions of artists slightly better than me as well. And I'm inspired by them equally, you know? The mindset we should have, the approach we should have is, whoa, that thing you did looks amazing. How did you do that? What technique did you use? Blah, blah, blah. What's your process like, right? Even if they say, because again, dude, my friend's girlfriend, she's also my friend, but I guess she's my friend's girlfriend first and foremost. I don't fucking know, but whatever. She is really, really, really good at observation. She's really good at painting, right? If you'd ask her how often she does this, it'd be like never, because she doesn't do it that often. She genuinely has a very strong affinity for observation, and she's very patient when she draws. The thing is, or paints. The thing is, I asked her, she fucking hates it. She hates drawing or painting, but she loves the outcome, and she's satisfied when the outcome is good. I don't think that's the right approach either. It's why she rarely does it, right? But she does have the affinity. But that's why I'm getting better than her in all aspects, right? Like, she'll always have a good base ability, but here I am putting the work in, you know? And at the same time, I don't hold it against her either, right? Before I actually started practicing, I did, because, you know, I have my baseline ability and she has hers, right? So yeah, there was a bit of jealousy, but then once you start learning and practicing and you fall in love with the craft, you realize it doesn't matter. You know, I ask her what she uses, and the thing is, people, when they're good, they can't even, so many people are so shit at explaining things. She cannot explain what she does, why she does it, what she focuses on. She just says generic things. Not that it's her fault or it's bad or anything, but it's just like most people. She just says generic things like, oh yes, I was focusing on this, or I wanted to make sure this was good. That doesn't tell you anything. When you need something to be explained to you, it has to be explained to you like a fucking autist, right? Every little detail possible known to man. But then the difference is there are people who take that information, do nothing with it, and then there are people who will do something with it. So I hope you're the individual who actually does your best to continue onwards, right? I believe in you. I'll say it again. I believe in you, despite all my random fucking tangents that have been going on. I believe in you. How much time has passed? It's been an hour and 4 minutes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna finish this row, and I think I'll leave it at this because if I make another session and I try doing the rest of these with the third ellipse, it'll look nice and all, but then I have to go through this, and my perfectionism won't allow me to fucking leave it at that. So I'm gonna allow the feeling that I'm like, okay, I'm good with this, right? Half of it has 3, the other half has 2. Maybe I'll fill it in at one point, but let's be honest, I most likely won't. I'm also lazy in the sense that I really only practice on camera, right? Which is why I absolutely ensure I get my at least 5 to 7 hours of drawing in a week, you know? Which isn't much when you think about it. But that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been consistently doing, right? Yeah, just one last thing I want to say is I keep saying you can do it, right? And what if you, and I do imagine some of you will say, like, and I'll say, why can't you do it? I say that, right? And some of you might say, well, it's hard and this, that. The thing is, it's always going to be hard. It's going to be equally as hard to do something versus not do something. The only difference is the difficulty in not in doing something is momentary and in the present, right? Getting up and me coming here having to draw is difficult right now. But not drawing is going to be difficult 5 years from now if I keep stacking up not doing it, because then I'll have not done it for such a long time that I'll feel the overwhelming difficulty, the pain of inaction. You don't feel inaction in the moment, you feel inaction down the line. And that weight is so much worse because that comes with regret. So don't regret and give me money. Let me do my outro. But yeah, thank you for watching, blah, blah, blah. Right, without all that inspiration shit out of the way. I hope you enjoyed drawing. I hope you enjoyed listening or watching. I hope this was informative or at the very, actually, no, it's probably not entertaining. Maybe it is. I don't know why I hope for this shit. Nobody's fucking listening or watching. But with that being said, like, subscribe, blah, 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 comment, give me a fucking, give me a Blumpkin. Search that one up. And with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing and please give me money. Thank you.